Hi and Assalamualaikum guys, this is group 8, consists of Kalsom, binti Abdul Hamid and me, myself, Amira binti Azman. Today we will present related to Ibnu Sina ethical issues. Before further to our presentation, let's need to take notes and focus on these 4 points, which are ethical issues, solution on ethical issues, and character building, also educational view. Now we move on to the biography of Ibn Sina. He was named by Abu Ali al-Hussein Ibn Abdullah Ibn Sina, and he was born on 980 Anno Domini and was born at village of Afshana near Bukhara, Turkestan. His father was named by Abdullah from Baykh, the local governor of Carmaitan, and his mom is Sitare from Afshana. The date of death 1037 Anno Domini. Ibn Sina, also known to the West by Europeanites. The Hebrew translation of his name is Ibn Sina, and Ibn Sina was born at the time when Bukhara was the capital and intellectual center of the Samanid dynasty, which ruled over much of eastern Iran, Persia, and Afghanistan, Khorasan, until the rise of Mahmud of Ghazni of Afghanistan. He wrote almost 450 treatises, and then his philosophy dealt with the questions like role of God in the human existence and the universe. He also wrote on logic, metaphysics, and ethics. His greatest contribution to the development of both Muslim and Western was his attempt to reconcile the ancient Greek philosophy and God as the creator of all existence. Now we move on to the contributions of Ibn Sina. I only insert few of them. You guys can search by your own for further reading. So, first of all, we can see Ibn Sina contributes in many fields. First, we will go into medicine. His book Al-Qanun fi Tib, which medical regulation, consisting of 14 volumes, and is considered a treasury of medical science. His book was published in Rome in 1593 before being translated into English under the title Canon of Medicine. Now we move on to philosophy. He once wrote a book entitled An-Najah, which dealt with philosophical questions. His first work entitled Al-Majmu', and his work was translated into Arabic in 1950s by the Arab League and were titled Ibn Sina Mu'allafat. Next, in astronomy, he invented an instrument of observing the coordinates of stars. Meanwhile, in chemistry, his treatise on minerals was one of the main sources of geology of Christian encyclopedias. Next, in music, he considered music as one of branches of maths and gave some theories on tonic intervals, rhythmic patterns, and musical instruments. Meanwhile, in anatomy, he is the first scientist to describe the minute and graphic description of different parts of the eye. In geology, less known in earth science, in Kitab al-Shifa, he had presented fundamental principles of geology in terms of earth processes, major events, and long geologic time. And lastly, in physics, he contributed to the study of different forms of energy, heat, light, and mechanical and such concepts as force, vacuum, and infinity. Now we will proceed to ethical problems. Ethical problem is an issue or problem faced by individual or a group of people which requires them to choose between what is ethical and what is not. Ethical problems, also known as ethical issues. So, related to ethical issues, Ibnu Sina developed a theory of conjunction of the soul with the active intellect that bound up the ultimate perfection of the soul, which has attained the highest degree of wisdom and virtue. He divides the soul into rational, irascible, and concupiscent, to which correspond the virtues of wisdom, courage, and temperance, respectively, and with justice being summation of all three. To ensure the enforcement of justice within the state, argues Ibn Sina, the existence of the caliph, as conceived by the Shiites, is necessary as the sovereign of the world and God's vicegerent on earth. So Ibn Sina had came up with a solution on ethical problems, which by the concept of man and morality. Based on Ibn Sina, fundamental understanding about the concept of man and morality is a human being consists of body, intelligence, and nafs, which every man possesses innate potential to do or to be good or to be bad. It also depends on what he or she exposed to. And Ibn Sina also mentioned that man is born with natural disposition, and man have to fight negativity with positivity until he make it as part of his habit, attitude, and character.
Alright guys, I'm gonna continue with the Ibn Sina character building, but before that, I want to share with you about Ibn Sina's view of ethics. He said that morality is an acquired matter, not inborn, and it is within a person's capacity to acquire any such morality he wishes, through habituation, imitation, fear, or wisdom. Ibn Sina considered that the process of acquiring morality began from the infant's birth, because the child is exposed to problems and difficulties soon after birth and in the early stages of childhood, and this influences his psychology and temperament, and hence his ethical development. For this reason, Ibn Sina paid great attention to the early stages of childhood and everything connected with it, the morality and the culture of the witness, the teacher and the child companions in school or the place where he studies. Next, we move to the Ibn Sina character building. First, Ibn Sina has put greater responsibility on the shoulder of the parents to enhance their children's moral values. Second, he emphasized the element of choosing the good name for the children first, which means there are certain psychological benefits and implications for choosing names. Islam also strongly emphasizes the selection of good names. Third, Ibn Sina maintains that education begins as soon as after the completion of breastfeeding, because we need to begin this early stage of education with morality. And lastly, Ibn Sina uses the term ta'lim to explain the importance of moral education at this stage, not ta'lim or tarbiyah. The rationale for ta'lim here refers to a more defensive nature before the child is faced with bad behavior and bad inclination. The issue is, Ibn Sina stated that usually children are quickly influenced by bad forms of moral. The factor is because they do not know about the values and the differences between good and bad and how to avoid them. So, what is the solution? First, they need to always be away from these forms, and this is the defensive approach pointed by Ibn Sina in this early stage. Second, his perspective is to be a better human through education covering morality, religion, mental, and emotional strength. And lastly, he emphasizes the level of education below 10 years, because at this stage, parents need to play their roles and responsibility completely. Next, we're gonna talk about educational stages. Okay, first, infant stage, which is birth until 2 years old. What we're gonna do is we care and observe them attentively. They need to sleep, bathing, sucking, exercise suitable for the infant stage. Next, we go to the childhood stage, which is 3 to 5 years old. In this stage, we need to focus on moral development of taste and behavior, the child's moral, and keeping him away from any harmful influences which might affect his soul and his morals. Next, we go to the first stage of formal teaching, which is 6 to 14 years old. In this stage, they need to have peer learning and Quran memorization. And at this stage also, children learn the principles of Islamic culture. And finally, which is specialized education, which comes after the child completed general primary teaching and his aptitude have become apparent either to continue in the education or to learn a craft and earn a living. Ibnu Sina also introduced education for girls, which is first, education should be carried out at home. Second, should be taken care of by the girl's family or by a private tutor. And lastly, families will give the girls whatever moral, religious, and cultural preparation his families desire. That's all from us. Thank you for watching the video. Bye!